This is a big nuke area that we're working on. Normally the ones that we do are about 50 millimeters tall. This one is about 65. And this is a Chinese cleaver. This is random Damascus, about 600 layers. This thing's 110 millimeters tall. I've always wanted to make a Chinese cleaver, but they're terrifying. So time to grind, heat treat, and hope for the best. Okay, now we're done with the rough grinding, and next is going to be the heat treat. I'm doing the heat treating at my friend Logan's place because this thing is so wide it just does not fit in my kiln vertically. So we do a little bit of normalization first, and then we go in for the quench. So far everything looks good. Quench looks good. No noises, no warps, nothing crazy like that. Oops. And then now we just temper it. But I mean, just look at this thing, like, it just, yeah. So we could temper here, but couldn't do the quench here.
Should I start with 120 on this?
What does your heart tell you?
It looks like back here it's going to be a nightmare, but up front it's fine.
If it's not too much of a pain in the ass, I'd say 120.
Okay. So I've got this upper face at 320, and I think we're going to leave it there, but now I have to start working on this tertiary bevel. So we have primary bevel, and then we have a hollow here, and then a hollow here. It's a new thing Don's trying out.
Experimental.
Right, but part of the problem is, and I think just because this thing's so big, is that we're having issues with like really extreme 2-inch marks. And then you can kind of see already, what I'm talking about.
The 2-inch mark comes from the edge of the platen. So normally on stuff, we would use the disc sander, and that makes everything really, really flat. On the belt grinder, you're gonna have the edge of the platen, the give in the belt, and just, it's not a flat surface. It's not a really good, big, like, place to index the surface on. So you get a lot of like this weird stuff that happens. I had some deep marks in the forging because I'm not really good at forging, and I was trying to use as much of the steel as possible. So I ground those deep areas first, which is where the grinding trickery kind of happened. Now, Sam, you're using...
This is 120 actually. That's how bad they are. So this little, I guess it's kind of a platen, whatever. This plate here has a slight curve to it. That's there so that we can hand sand into the hollow grind.
And it's nice and long so that it evens out a lot of the surface. So like,
right, yeah.
You doing 120 on this thing actually does take away a lot of those irregularities.
It does, yeah. It's doing some pretty good work. It's still really slow, but we tried just finishing it out with 320, and those marks were still so bad that we resorted to this, and it's definitely taking a lot of it out and just making it look way more uniform.
How bad is it to sand with 120?
I mean, it's not fast. It's really, yeah, it's not fast. I like it, but everyone else would hate it. Yeah, and there's nothing for it either. It's pretty slow going. And there's a lot of surface area because this thing is so huge. So you really have to take down, so if you have a valley, you have to do a lot of work to take down this huge area on either side of that valley so that the whole thing is level. So yeah, it's a lot of work.
But I wanted it to be flat. I didn't want it to have like those flaws, even if you might not see them. Like, this is Damascus. We're gonna etch it. Most people are pretty much never gonna see stuff like that, but I don't know. I want it to be solid, good.
Yeah, and I know for me it's just peace of mind that the quality it's up. It's not waning. But the challenges with this are such that we do need to make some compromises, because just dealing with something this big, you're bound to run into issues that you just don't run into normally. But honestly, I think the work I've done on it, like, it hasn't completely fixed it, but it's certainly...
Yeah, you haven't done much, but it's already getting a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, this side especially was really bad, and you can kind of tell when you're looking parallel with the light that there's a dip, but a dip is better than just a noticeable trench. It's actually coming along quite well.
No, it works. And then I'm just gonna make sure there's no spot that's not being contacted. Okay, the knife is ready to test. Right now, all I'm gonna do is just give it a really quick, dirty edge. I imagine it cuts pretty well, just based on like feeling the geometry and kind of what I'm used to. So I'm just gonna go 320, 1500 really quick, sharpen it up, test it, and then I think we're ready for handle. This thing's pretty awkward to sharpen. This is not going to be the final edge, but oh my god, it's so weird to hold. I'm just digging like into the edge of the stone. And I'm just testing really quick. Okay, so what I'm feeling for basically is, does it steer, does it wedge a lot, does it stick a lot? My guess is it's going to do pretty well. It's fairly symmetrical, thin, but it has some convexity there. So first big cut is mainly for steering, see if it turns left or turns right. It does stick. No steering, no wedging. Damn, that sticks a lot. What the shit? Seeing where it sticks. Towards the front, not nearly as much. It's all bottom bevel part, like the bottom ½ inch or so. So that just needs a little bit more convexity, I think. Yeah. Okay. Some adjustments then. So it doesn't steer, it doesn't wedge, but it does stick. It's peeling away from the top edge, but it's sticking towards the bottom right here. So what that tells me is there's quite a substantial flat section down around this area here, and there needs to be a little bit more convexity to blend that section there to reduce that surface area. It's all this this big flat section down at the bottom here. We'll have to re-etch, refinish a lot of this. But in the meantime, I don't know, while Sam probably works on that, I'll be working on the handle. Handle is all designed up. All the spacers are fitted up. Alignment pins are in there. This is ready to basically finish out right now. It's all squared up, so I've got the center line established and got the 2 flats on the sides. So now I just need to transfer the drawing to the actual block itself and then just go from there. All right, take 2. How embarrassing that we had to do a take 2. First cut. Oh, look at that. Oh. Oh my God, look at that. So what did we do? All I did was this like area right above where the edge bevel is. I went back and just put a little bit more of a hollow grind there, just tiny bit. So there's a line right here that was previously there where there was the break between the bevel and the upper part of the blade, whatever that is. Basically just took off a lot of material and pushed the line down. Pushing the line down, I think, was probably most of the work right there. That reduces that surface area right here and gives it a lower, lower shelf for the food to kind of just fall off. And it thinned it out a little bit more too, so I don't know, feels good. Feels really good. Ooh, also, there's a handle now. Let's try it with the handle. Oh, that feels so much better. You can hear it there's no resistance. That's nice. I'm gonna call that good. Yeah. Hooray. Okay, so now the blade is good, finally. Should have done this before we etched it, but now we have to go back, resand it, build up the Damascus texture again, the depth in the etch, refinish it, and then handle's almost there. Just got to do a couple of adjustments. Got to do a couple of adjustments, and then final touches, glue it on, and then hopefully that's it. Shit, sticky as fuck. Okay, we're at the home stretch now. I'm doing the final touches on the handle. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the handle is ivory paper micarta, stainless spacer, and then this beautiful piece of Honduran rosewood. And I'm actually really allergic to this rosewood. I'm allergic to most oily woods now, which kind of sucks. But I bought this piece long before I developed that allergy, and it's such a beautiful piece of wood that I didn't know what to do with that. It sat for years, and I got to the point where I was do I give this piece of wood away, or am I waiting for one last project to use it on? And when I started looking at this cleaver, I saw this piece of wood with these handle materials. I was like, it's perfect for it. So I decided, let's just use it. I'll be careful with the dust. I can't get it on my skin. I can't breathe it in. Just got to be really cautious. So this is almost ready. It's got the alignment pins in there. Everything's all super tight. I just need to get everything flush and then chamfer the pieces in between, glue it up. So now I'm ready to hit these facets again. This handle is gonna have contrasting textures. It's gonna be texturized back here, and then it's gonna have these nice, clean, crisp facets up front. And this has gone through a bunch of wet sanding, slurry building stages, just because there's two little tiny holes here, just from beetle tracks or wherever these bugs ate through. It's kind of annoying because this is it's an immaculate piece of wood, except for that little dot right there. So that's just a whole bunch of rounds of wet sanding, building up the slurry, letting it dry, and then going through again. I could have just filled it with super glue, but I hate that look because you're gonna have this nice piece of wood and then a really shiny dot right there. This won't be perfect, but it's not gonna be a glaring, obvious, shiny contrast as opposed to the rest of the handle. So let's finalize the facets on this on the disc. So I know I just talked about having two different textures on there and stuff, having the almost raw wood texture with these shiny, crisp facets. I don't like it. This handle's so close to being done. It's almost ready, and I think I'm gonna go back and regrind these textured areas to make it all uniform. To me, it just doesn't look consistent. It's just not, doesn't have like a really good, well thought out theme to it. It's almost like gimmicky and it's not good. Like some sections look okay, and then some sections, like the butt of it, just looks like really porous and sloppy, and it looks cheap.
Show the sides. The sides are more successful.
It's fine. It's fine. But I want it to be like fucking spot on. So I'm grinding it. And then I declare it done. After this, it's gonna be done. No fussing with it. That's it. We're doing it live.
I'm pretty nervous right now. If I slip here, it's like game over. Okay, now to the disc. We'll go to 320.
Handle is ground. Clean. I took off that texture and stuff like that. We're at the final stages of handle assembly now. So got the alignment pins in there, and all I'm doing now is chamfering the little like metal spacer. Well, I'm chamfering the metal spacer and these pieces right here, so that over time when things shift through humidity and temperature, this is not gonna have a sharp edge. Like if I just sanded everything flush right here, it's going to give you a really sharp edge over time. And so this is a super, super subtle little thing that I'm doing, but I really want like every detail to come together like that. I wanted there to be cohesion. And with this, I want, I don't know, perfection is a stupid word, but I'll use that. I don't have a good way of doing this. All I'm doing is just taking sandpaper in my hand, running the little spacer over the edge, and then I just do it by hand, hold it like that, and then I look at it in the light and just see like how wide is the chamfer. Does it have any sections where it's like kind of like expanding out? Does it stay straight? Are the chamfers on each edge equal? That's all I'm looking for. It doesn't need to be huge, but it needs to be there so that it's, you know, it's a nice little tactile touch instead of a flaw later down the road. I've already done a video on doing the alignment pins and why we do them, and this is a huge part of why, is to be able to finish this piece separately, then put them all together and then glue it. So it's a whole bunch of work for the smallest little detail ever, but it's worth it to me. And then I don't know if you could see it in the light or anything, but like I want to show the width of those little chamfers. So after I do that, after I do these, I can finally put this together like so, and it'll be glued up today. Then I go back over, get all the sanding scratches all uniform in the same direction, and then wet sand the wood, get all those pores filled up again, and then finish it, glue it, and we'll be done. I've been working on this handle for like, I don't know, an entire week now, maybe longer. But a lot of that was just like experimenting and then going backwards, and then going backwards takes forever. And then this little fit up has been kind of a pain, because every time I take it apart and put it back together, things shift a little bit. So I'm just hoping that like by the time I do the final glue up, get all flush, the chamfers are still going to be present and uniform. So that's where I'm at. Okay, this Chinese cleaver is finally finished. I am scared to touch this because we have put so much time into it. I don't even know how much time. It's been weeks and weeks of just working on the handle, finishing it, refinishing it, filling in like pores, redoing the oil finish, redoing the shaping, because I just kept changing my mind. We'd get to a point and I would look at it and I wasn't super satisfied. There's a lot of learning, a lot of experimenting, seeing if I liked certain things or not. Like I tried the texturing on the wood. I liked the texture. I didn't like the texture with the shiny parts. It just didn't jive with me. There's a lot of refinishing on the Damascus too. Just such a wide surface. It was hard to get it like very even and, I don't know, look nice with like good depth, good contrast. None of the weird streaks or splotchy marks on it. And anytime we had to refinish it, it was just like so much time, because it's a giant paddle. There was a lot of learning with the geometry too. I came in really confident because I was like, well, I know how knives generally cut by now. Like that was my ego, and I was completely wrong. So that was when the blade was pretty much almost getting to the point where it was done. And then we had to sand this whole section down here again when I went deeper with the hollow, deeper and lower with the hollow. And then now I had sections where it was clean, and then sections where we had the Damascus etch, and we had to refinish the whole thing to get it all even again. I really like how it turned out. There's you can see a lot of like interesting like chatoyance and a lot of like patterning just from the way I was squishing and stretching the material. There's like almost like a ladder look to it, but it's not like organized ladder. It's random because it was random, but using the top tool and some of the little squeezy things, a lot of that shows. And in the light, I don't know if you can see, but like you can see some of the orderedness. Like there's little squares going on from when I squished it this way, when I squished it this way. I think it looks really nice. It feels really good. So this is supposed to be a medium weight grind. The balance is pretty much right at my signature where it begins, so it's slightly forward balance. And I was requested to make a medium weight grind. It wasn't supposed to be a laser, so trying to get it to cut really well without wedging, but also not be too thin and too light, not be too heavy with all of this mass right here. Trying to offset it with the handle was an interesting challenge. And then aesthetically it was an interesting challenge because I've never made anything of this shape, and I didn't want to just slap on an octagonal handle, and then I wanted to make it like, you know, something of my own and make it work well. And trying to show this without cutting myself or dropping it. But like, I really like how it all turned out. I think it looks really good. Will I do another one of these? Probably. I'm gonna say no, but I always change my mind. I'm sure I would do it differently next time, just from the stuff that I've learned. But like, all in all, looking back, a lot of the time was the experimenting and the trying stuff out, discovering that it wasn't for me, and then going backwards and spending the time to fix it up. So it wasn't like all, like a huge amount of time all together from start to finish. I mean, it was, but yeah, time to ship it out. Hopefully the customer really likes it. I want to make this the best Chinese cleaver he's ever handled and ever used. And I just like looking at it. Hopefully this is a fun video to watch. Hopefully it was a little bit insightful. And if you like our videos and you want to support us making more of them, we have a Patreon. We do some extra videos here and there, just like vlogs and some little tips and tricks. And there's the Discord if you want to chat. But otherwise, till next time.